I'm not going to start the video this time with a funny comment, because I wanted to talk about something that I almost never talk about on my channel. I've been doing this show since 2014, and I think that I have actually mentioned Richard Stallman 2, maybe 3 times. And there's a reason for that. The free software movement has lionized Richard Stallman based on, I think, an over-glorification of the guy, honestly. I think that he has been glorified in a way that really doesn't make a lot of sense. Sure, he founded the free software movement. He started the GNU project. He's the founder of the free software movement. I'll give you all of those things. He's probably had many other achievements as well. Last year, Richard Stallman stepped down from the Free Software Foundation. But when Richard Stallman resigned, or whatever the term he used was, when he stepped down, when he stepped away from the free software movement, I said to myself, it's probably a good thing. Some of the things that he has said has been truly disgusting, like that level of awful. But the reason that I was happy to see Richard Stallman step away from the Free Software Foundation is pretty simple. Richard Stallman kind of only has one routine. When you watch any of his interviews, and if someone asks him a question, it's almost always, you can guess what he's going to say. GNU/Linux, or GNU plus Linux, or what else does he say? He says 4 other different things. Free software, not open source. These things that he's so practiced in saying, and I get it. He's the most staunch free software advocate. There's no wiggle room. You can't have freedom if you don't have free software. I get that, and I appreciate that. But the Free Software Foundation is at a point right now, at least from my perspective, where they have kind of painted themselves into irrelevancy. The free software movement never really adapted for the internet. It never really did anything beyond the scope of, writing native C code. If I'm being quite honest, it gave its blessing to a few Linux distros, and from where I stand as a web developer, as a content creator, the Free Software Foundation feels like a dinosaur, and it didn't have to be that way. It really didn't. Someone left a comment on one of my previous Odysee videos saying that that my website hellostory.org didn't have the free software something or other. Well, let me find it. So the Free Software Foundation has a thing called Libra.js. I looked into it. Libra.js, right? Libra.js is a way of telling a Firefox, or I guess GNU IceCat browser extension, that software is that the JavaScript on your web page is open source and therefore is allowed to be executed. And that's actually kind of a cool idea, right? But at the same time, the implementation here is so obscenely broken, in my opinion, as a web developer. It's so out of touch with how the web actually works. I honestly cannot believe that this is the solution to the web's open source problem. Look, I get it. I mean, I do understand that a lot of the JavaScript that is downloaded and executed in your browser is not open source. And if you are an open source purist, if you only want to run free software, then you have very few options. And this is addressing that. But at the same time, I mean, this seems like it was this standard, I don't know what you want to call it, this protocol is absurd. I mean, it's as if it was written in like 1999 and was never updated. And that is kind of the whole problem that I have with the Free Software Foundation to begin with. And I feel like part of the problem is that there really wasn't much distinction between the Free Software Foundation and Richard Stallman. And every criticism that I've had about the GNU project, about the Free Software Foundation, is that it's out of touch. And the fact is, the Free Software Foundation, I think, is better off shedding some of the weight, if you'll take my meaning. Richard Stallman is disconnected from the modern world, and I feel like his involvement in the Free Software Foundation is probably holding the entire organization back. The mission of the organization should be to promote the use of free software. And technology moves so fast now, and it has pervaded everybody's lives so intrinsically. Where is the Free Software Foundation now? There are many other organizations that are doing a much better job of trying to ensure privacy and respecting user rights than the Free Software Foundation. Because really, the Free Software Foundation has been preoccupied with things that I feel like, as a millennial, and I know I'm going to get criticism for that, just aren't relevant to the digital world that I live in. And I've said that a couple times, but that's really what it is. So you can accuse me of being a cancel culture, whatever. I don't care. I hate cancel culture. But I think the Free Software Foundation is better off without Richard Stallman. So the fact is, Richard Stallman has joined the board of directors at the Free Software Foundation after having left. Whether he was canceled or not doesn't matter. The man left. He retired. He recused himself, whatever you want to say. And the foundation is better off without him. I think the mission of the Free Software Foundation is probably better served without Richard Stallman around. Not just because he said crazy and disgusting things that are morally reprehensible, and any good person in the world will recognize that. That really doesn't have anything to do with the fact that he, founded the Free Software Foundation or anything like that. Doesn't matter. Fact is, Stallman is out of touch. And he has held the Free Software Foundation back from achieving its mission. And that is the real problem that I have with this. I think Richard Stallman is more like Walter Day than he is like Linus Torvalds. Where Torvalds contributed so much to not just the open source world, but also to like the software development world. Walter Day kind of stuck around at Twin Galaxies well beyond his relevancy and ended up holding back or even actively acting against the interests of the organization that he was a part of. Sure, Stallman has had some good ideas over the years, but he's also had many, many, many bad ones. And I think that he has overstayed his welcome, his relevancy. And I think that his importance in the free software movement is pretty much overstated. I really didn't want to make this video for a couple reasons. And, if you go back through the history of my channel, you'll see I only have talked about Stallman a couple times because I feel like he's irrelevant to my digital life and the mission of the Free Software Foundation. And in fact, he is a detriment to it. Not because of what he said. Whatever you can think about what he said, that's on you. I think what he has said in the past is truly disgusting. I think that Richard Stallman is a hindrance to the mission of the free software movement for more than that. Because of his actions, because of his beliefs, because of his hardline views, and because he has never installed a Linux distro himself. I don't talk about Stallman. I don't particularly think he's relevant to the type of content that I make, to the Linux movement, to the open source movement, to the free software world. The fact that he's back at the Free Software Foundation shows to me that they are more interested in showing loyalty to a person than fealty to an idea. And that is probably the most disgusting thing about this whole ordeal. The Free Software Foundation shouldn't be about stroking someone's ego or venerating someone's legacy. It should be about an idea, the idea of free software. And I feel like Richard Stallman has held back the free software movement for so long that really this move by the FSF to add him to the board of directors kind of shows where their loyalty lies, to a person rather than the idea or the mission of the organization. And that's just wrong. Yeah, that's going to do it for now. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this, because I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Have a blessed day.